Ray, I got to ask you right out of the gate. I'm going to have you introduce yourself. I'm going to have you introduce who Masergy is. But, you know, Leslie just really brought up a really good point. AI is one of those buzzwords that is like taking over everything.
Sure.
And I want to ask you a direct question. What do hackers think of AI?
Well, first and foremost, the general hacking community that Leslie was referring to, which does not just include criminals by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, there's a huge movement to take back that term. But usually when we hear things like blockchain or AI or dark web or dark blockchain, there's a lot of collective eye rolling because people have heard those terms so much, right? And I work for a company called Masergy, where we really do believe that networking and security has to be integrated together because the network is ultimately what you really are trying to protect. And it's also what's the biggest threat to you that's out there. So we are doing some kind of pragmatic things around AI, but you always have to be careful when you talk to a CISO or a CIO audience not to overdo sort of that hype cycle, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I love it because it was like the human to human, right? I mean, we're even going to be talking about that with Sam later from the creator of Mr. Robot. But I mean, the human to human perspective of this, when she was describing that, just made me think of not only Masergy and all of the other service providers that are going to be on here today. We're really helping with that human to human aspect that companies can't quite do it themselves, to be honest.
For sure, 100%. So the biggest challenge that we had pre-COVID was a human resources challenge, right? Small staffs having to do humongous jobs. Now, post-COVID, that's even more so because you're going to have a lot more work from home. The threat vectors are a lot different. Behaviors are a lot different. You know, in the rush to configure folks so that they could work from home, a lot of companies by necessity kind of took some shortcuts, et cetera. And then to make matters worse, and this is kind of a dark point, Drew, there will be a lot of cybersecurity engineers that are unemployed in the near future. And as Leslie mentioned, whether we like it or not, crime can be opportunistic. So as companies look at the threat landscape that's out there, not only do they need to be concerned with nation state activity and script kiddies, but also relatively professional groups as well. All three classifications are going up, and I think we're going to see that from today's DBIR report as well.
You know, Ray, a lot of people know you in the InfoSec community, right? You've got a huge following. You speak a lot with me. We go around and speak. Talk a little bit about Masergy, the platform, what you guys are doing. Educate the audience on your amazing company who seems to do a few things better than most can do.
Yeah, so we simply connect, protect, and collaborate. That's it, all right? So we have a worldwide software-defined backbone that does private connectivity into Amazon Web Services and Google and Microsoft all over the world, where the customers can change their own bandwidth, create VLANs, create clouds, do their own QoS, anything and everything that you could ever want on a completely private network, but it's over SD-WAN. Now, it's also integrated with the security offerings into that same portal so that they're very, very tightly integrated, as well as unified communications as a service and contact center as a service. And that's it. We do those three things. This is a hardcore geek company. As a matter of fact, I would say about 90% of our employees watch the television show Mr. Robot, which probably gets you some geek creds, right there. But this is an extremely technical company that is out there and actually making things happen from a business outcome standpoint.
And the number one turbo nerd at Masergy, absolutely unequivocally you. So
100%. So
I want to give you that award, right? Real quick.
Okay, I'll take that award, but I do want to tell you something though. So around that AI thing, when I was warning you about hype and stuff, one of the things that we are doing that is a force multiplier is we are now letting customers have virtual employees, virtual network engineers to catch things like IP address misconfigurations, QoS size. And I'll tell you, I just saw just the other day a customer that had actually been struggling with something for like 9 months. The AI caught something that none of their employees had ever actually seen before. And it was just a game changer, right? So our NOC, our Network Operations Center, is using this as a force multiplier for themselves, and it's using it it's also using it as a force multiplier for customers. But what's crazy, Drew, is if you think about the way the AI develops, it actually develops like a human, right? It's when we're babies, we're taking in all the information of the world, and then we start to aggregate patterns, and then we start to make predictions. That's exactly the track that AI ops is taking. So I would say it's very young right now in computer terms. In network terms, it's probably like a CCNA level, right? But over time, that rate of acceleration is going to continue to get better and better, so that our customers will get text messages, for example, that say, this is your virtual network engineer, this is what I see, this is what I recommend, would you like me to take this action? And it's such a seamless and exciting area for both security, for network, as well as for unified communications as a service, that we really do think today this is a game changer.
And so that's, just kind of thinking about that though, that's a blend of the human quality and the AI quality, and giving you just that more tool set. Now, is this going to be able to detect things like shadow IT and other things that are going on inside of the organization, or is this more?
For sure. So on the SD-WAN side, Masergy identifies about 4,000 applications for software as a service applications. But more importantly, we do this for free for all of our SD-WAN customers, and we give them actionable insight into the risk levels. So we're basically ranking them from 1 to 5 to let them know what's going on. And this has taken on even more importance as people work from home. Because one of the things we didn't really talk about today was work from home hasn't just been an extreme boom for companies like Zoom, et cetera. It's also been an extreme boom for cyber criminals too, because most people don't really think of their home Wi-Fi as a way to get into the corporate network. But ultimately, because of software as a service, it absolutely is a threat vector and is one that needs to be looked at. So with Shadow IT Discovery, for no additional charge, we're making folks more aware of those types of applications real time, and then we can give them advice, or as a managed service, we can simply block those that are particularly dangerous.
So we're going to have you back in on the panel, and we'll go over a couple of more of those. I'm going to wrap up now. I'm going to ask actually Ian to come back on. Ian's going to introduce Curtis from Ring Central. I love this take today. One of the leaders in unified communications on a security webinar. There's a great reason behind it. I've had the pleasure of meeting him many a times. He brings a great perspective.